The 1%er Podcast with Sam Bakhtiar, bringing you the 1% knowledge to help you reach your full potential. Learn what it takes to rise above the 99% and become a 1%er.
Hey, what's going on? This is Sam Bakhtiar, the host of the 1% Podcast. And I got my really amazing friend for 15 years. I know this man. This man has inspired me beyond anyone else. He has shown me the possibility of what's possible. Manny Khoshbin, thank you so much for coming here.
Great seeing you, my friend.
I appreciate you, man. Like I told you off camera, you know, you've been a great inspiration in my life. I remember meeting you 15 years ago, and you've been always so generous, always so humble.
Thank you.
We met through a mutual friend.
Yes.
And I remember, you know, every time we went out, you know, you just took us in and paid for everything. And even though I was like dead broke, I'm like, man, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to not pay for anything and all that kind of stuff. And
time flies.
I know time flies, man. And I really appreciate you, you know, as a friend. You've always been there. We always stayed in touch, even though we don't see each other all the time. But I know that you're someone that I can always call on if I need something for advice and all that.
Thank you. Feelings mutual. Yeah,
I appreciate you, man.
Congrats on your success.
Well,
it's amazing what you've done in 15 years. Amazing.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for inspiring me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Manny,
pleasure,
I'm going to get into a little bit of your story.
Sure.
You know, like about maybe 10, 15 minutes, you know, and then I want to talk about like some real estate stuff, you know, about what you're doing with your, you know, with your mastermind, you know, what you're doing with your real estate, you know, and everything else like that. So tell me a little bit about your story. I know we're both Persian brothers.
Yep.
You know, and you came here when you were 14. I came here when I was 11. So talk about that. You came here when you were 14.
Yeah. I came when I was 14 with my parents and my siblings. You know, there was a total of 6 of us. Mm-hmm. And it was 2 weeks before my 14th birthday, which at that time, you know, they kind of forced you to go to army at 14. Yep. And my dad decided to bolt, and 2 weeks before my 14th birthday, and not really having a time and preparation to liquid anything. He had a house and a hardware store. So it was like a last minute decision. And, you know, God bless him, you know, for doing that, because, you know, this is the land
you just took everything out.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in Iran, I don't know what I would be doing right now. You know, I'm sure I would have done something, but there's no way.
Nothing like this.
Yeah,
nothing like this.
This is a great country and a land of freedom, and gives you so many resources to, you know, drive and achieve your dreams. So long story short, we went to Turkey. My dad was able to get a visa, and after about 2 weeks, we came to US. He had a friend in Newport Beach that owned a bunch of gas stations, and he had promised them, you know, giving him a job to pump gas at full service. So that didn't pan out, and we ended up in a motel for a couple of weeks. And then my dad did the math. He's like, we're running out of money. He called his buddy. He goes, hey, you hung me dry here. You know, I got, you know, a 6-month-old daughter. My sister was 6 months old.
Oh my gosh, so there's 6 of you.
Yeah.
You know,
so
6-month-old daughter.
Yeah, 4 kids. Yeah.
Gosh.
So the guy says, you know, why don't you come over to the station? You know, I have a bunch of cars. You know, he was selling cars off of his lot. So my dad bought a Datsun station wagon, 1972. For a few $100, and that became our house, you know, for temporary, you know, for a few weeks, and then until he got a job. And
so you guys live in that Datsun.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't remember how long it was. To be honest, you know, when you go through trauma in life.
Yeah, you don't remember the exact timeline.
Yeah, that's weird how that works. You know, your subconscious kind of blocks it because it's painful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it was for a while, and then my dad got a job finally with his first paycheck. We went and got an apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment in Costa Mesa.
See, just really quick, I'm just tripping out, right? I'm just tripping out right now for a second. So, Manny Khoshbin, who has some of the most spectacular cars in the world anybody have seen. I mean, we're talking about with my team. You have you have one of ones. You know, you have like, you know, especially nobody else can say they have that. You know what I mean? Once lived in a Datsun, 72 Datsun, you know, homeless.
Yeah, we bought it for a few $100. It was beat up too. It was a fender bender.
Oh my God! Don't you ever look back and just like trip out? Do you really?
Yeah, sometimes I still don't think it's real. I feel we live in a computer game.
Oh my God, is this really, I had to stop. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no worries.
I'm just looking back. I'm like, gosh, man. I mean, I've been into your garage, I've been to your home, and now it's crazy how far you have come. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries. So that obviously all the trauma my family went through, the struggle, at age 14, it really, I feel like I became a man instantly,
Quickly.
Because all the guilt trip. So that became my motivation. I wanted to make money by any means, of course, legally, I never got into selling drugs or doing
you would have been a good drug dealer, man.
Yeah.
But thank God you took the legal route.
Yeah. So that became my motivation. So from that point on, I didn't speak any English. I had 3 hours of ESL in high school, freshman when we signed in Costa Mesa High School. And that was by itself a big challenge for me because I couldn't communicate. So, you get frustrated when you can't talk like a 2-year-old. Yeah. And so I had to learn English. And then, so that was a challenge because I couldn't really, use myself to communicate and do anything. But I learned, from living across from Orange Coast College, which they had swap meets on the weekend.
Yeah, I remember.
I learned that, hey, it's flea market, everyone's, bartering, selling things. So I learned, hey, that's a business I don't really need to speak, you just
buy low, sell high, right?
Yeah. So I picked up, people leftovers by the trash cans throughout the week and then put it in my patio. I was 14 years old. I got my brother, he was 12 to help me.
Wait a second, I read in your book that you got in a fight over some trash.
Oh yeah, that's an embarrassing one because it
I want you to tell that story. Yeah. I want you to tell that story. I want people to know because I read your book that one night you got actually somebody wanted a trash and you were about to fight somebody trash and then go ahead you tell the story.
Well, when I used to get up early in the morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning. It's still dark before the dumpster trucks come to pick up the trash. So we jump in the trash first. We pick whatever is outside the dumpster, and then we. If there is anything, we inside the dumpster, like, toasters or what have you. Yeah. So this one early morning, I see a bunch of wires hanging out. I'm like, great, there's got to be some electronics in there. So I dive in there, and then it's dark. So I'm pulling on the wires, and I see someone else pulling. Like I hear noises in there. I'm like, shit, somebody else in the dumpster. They're pulling on this TV. We're coming back and forth, and then he comes up, and then I see it's my dad's friend.
Oh my God!
Yeah, this was so embarrassing.
You're about to fight your dad's friend.
Yeah, I think he was more embarrassed than me because I'm 14 years old at this point, but he's an old grown man. Anyway, long story short, but no. So we used to compile the stuff because the cost of goods is zero. I'm picking up stuff, and then we just haul it across the street on Saturdays, Sundays. And you don't have to speak any English. We took masking, duct tape, masking tape, just tear it up, put with a magic marker, $2, $1, And that was my first job, like my first business, really. I learned how to negotiate with people.
You made money out of thin air. That's what you did. You made money out of thin air. You made money out of garbage.
Well, $150 a weekend, that's a lot of money for, the space was like $10 per space, to pay rent. So it was great profit.
$140 profit.
Yeah. So then 2 years later, I obviously was, 16 and I was able to get a job legally. So I started working at Kmart as a clerk and cleaning clerk and picking up shopping carts in the parking lot, washing the toilets, mopping the stockroom and the sales floor, and that was a great experience too.
And is that 16? Is it when you bought your first car?
No, I bought my first car when I was 17.
So that was the Honda Accord?
Yeah. I saved my money. The minute I got the job at Kmart, I saved almost all my paycheck every week. They used to pay you in cash at Kmart, in a little envelopes.
Man, Kmart used to pay people in cash. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I was getting $3.15 an hour back then. Yeah, the good old days. But it was good, because that you feel you're sweating, you're working, and then you get paid every Friday, and you're saving that money literally under your mattress, And
so
then
you were always a car enthusiast. So you're like ever since I was like 4 or 5 years old, I played with toy cars, and I was always a car enthusiast. And I know you're always a car enthusiast. I know some people buy cars to flash, this and that, but you are a really car enthusiast. And I'm
I'm passionate about it.
Yeah. That's I know you love it, and I love it. It's not, So ever since then, you were always looking for, I'm gonna get the car, right?
Yeah, people always tell me when on interviews, it says, "Hey, when you talk about cars, two things your face,
It lights up.
lights up is cars and then your kids."
Yes, exactly. Me too. Same.
Boys with toys.
Yeah, same.
But no, Kmart taught me a lot, because of course it was painful still because there was discrimination. I used to avoid walking by cafeteria because all the employees sitting there, they used to name call you and this and that. So I used to go around and eat my lunch, in the back of the stockroom, but kind of isolate myself. But as times went by, I got promoted to a sporting goods manager. But I knew everything in my life is a stepping stone, Even Kmart, swap meet, even now.
Did you know it then? Or, now you look back and you say, well, obviously we know now. We know now that everything in your life was a stepping stone and who made you up. But then, at that time...
No, I didn't know I'm going to be a multimillionaire.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
But I knew I want to
You want to progress. You want to progress.
I want to progress. I want to reach that financial freedom somehow. Yeah. But I didn't know it's going to be this.
Yes.
This huge. Yeah. I mean, own all these cars and homes.
I mean, your new home, man. Oh my God. Every morning, I want to watch your story because I want to watch your view vicariously. Every time you go to your balcony, I just want to watch that view because that view is just amazing, man. Amazing.
Yeah. No, the new house is much more, conducive for kids. My old house, you saw, I didn't have a pool.
Yeah.
I had a big fountain.
Yeah.
And then what's funny is my daughter didn't know what's difference between pool and a fountain. She used to call my neighbors, "Hey, come to my house. We go swimming in our pool." And I told my daughter, I'm like, "That's a fountain." She used to swim in there,
Yeah.
But she,
quick thing before I forget, when I came to your former house, which was a huge house too. I don't know how big it was, but I remember coming to your house. And you know how it wrapped around.
Yeah, it was like a U.
Yeah, it was like a U, right? So, I remember coming in and, my friend was like, "This house is so beautiful." And so I walked in, I'm like, "Yeah, this is really nice, but he has neighbors right there." You know? And he goes, "No, that's his house." I'm like,
You're looking at the east wing.
I'm like, "Oh shit!" I mean, I never saw a house like that. I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah, it was an awkward layout. The house was 10,400 square feet, so it's a lot of square footage. But the backyard, had no pool.
Yeah.
And they built it like an Italian Tuscan. It was an older couple.
But that underground garage was pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the underground.
Yeah, but only 5-car garage.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Kmart. As soon as I got the Kmart job, I knew this is my first real job, so I got a lot of learning to do, and building my experience, working in America. The culture is totally different from Iran.
Yeah.
Let me get that water.
I got you.
Oh, thank you. I'm not used to talking so much. So within a year, I bought my first car, saving money every week. And as soon as I did that, I got promoted around the same time to a sporting goods manager. And they love me. I became an employee of the month 4 times in the first year. Mm-hmm. So that's 4 out of 12 months is pretty good. I was always showing up early. And I was always staying 5-10 minutes after I'm supposed to clock out.
And nobody does that.
Nobody does that. And the HR department, the lady, I forgot her name, but she pulled me one time and said, "Why do you stay over? We're not going to pay you that 5-10 minutes. You're always clocking out. And you're always coming early." I would come early and then I would clock out on time. So I was working for free, for a few minutes. Because I said I wanted to prove myself, I was so eager to succeed, so I didn't care.
My whole point profound. Was, I want to start, for people who are going to watch this. See, at the very, no matter what you did, you always had a higher standard.
Yeah.
You had a higher standard. You were just an employee, right? But you came in early and you left late because you just want to get stuff and you wanted to move up in the world, right?
Yeah.
But what I have a problem these days is people these days want to do the minimum, but they want to earn the maximum. And what they do sometimes, they say, "Well, I'm just doing this job right now, but once I do my own thing, I'm going to crush it." It's not. You crush everything you do, it becomes a habit.
Absolutely.
If you half-ass everything, it becomes a habit, right? So what I'm picking up from what you did, at the very age you hustled. When you started coming here, you hustled. You looked for opportunities to make money. You did whatever it took. And even when you worked for someone else, you showed up early and you left late. Doesn't matter because you wanted to move up.
Yep, you got to put in 200%, not 100%.
Yeah.
You know? All the time, 24/7. You know,
Like I said, man, if you're an employee, you work for somebody else, you put in 200% because once you do your own thing or you want to do anything in life, that's a habit that you're going to build, and that's what I'm picking up from you.
Yeah, you know, building your personality, your success habits, you know, early on, obviously it helps because it forms your, you know, your persona and your credibility, and you know, just like with anything else, you know, if you don't put in the effort, you're not going to get the results, right? Same with bodybuilding, you know.
Same thing.
You can't, you can't work out for 10 minutes and then expect to be a bodybuilder, you know.
Yep.
You got to work for hours, right? So but after that, I became a sporting goods assistant manager, and then I was getting the newspaper every Sunday, you know, to check in the help wanted section, because I knew that's a stepping stone. I don't want to work at Kmart, you know. I had much bigger dreams. So I started looking, and I found this company, WWI, Worldwide Industries. They said earn $500 a week. I'm like, wow, I'm only making $150 over here. $500 is great. So it was door-to-door sales, multi-level marketing, and at that time they were selling nuts, you know.
That's what. Yeah, that's how you were. If I remember correctly the story, you were selling nuts, so you were crushing it.
Yeah.
And then one guy came and bought some nuts from you, and he was
a healthy fireman. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yep. I remember. Okay,
so I worked at that company, that WWI, and then within 3-4 months, I became their top salesman, right? Because again, I was covering more area than any other salesman. I was working 10-12 hours a day. These guys work for 4 hours. They get tired, and I kept on going. I covered more area, you know. And one day, I'm shopping with my dad at Price Club. Back then it was not Costco, it was Price Club. And I did a quick math on cashews and trail mix and jujubes and toffees and all kinds of stuff I was selling, right? I'm like, wow, they're selling 3 pounds for $3. That's $1 a pound. This company is selling it to me for $2 a pound, double. So I talked to my dad. I'm like, you know, I already have my customers. I have all my routes. Why work for WWI? I can just, you know, buy the nuts, put them in a polyester bag, sell them myself. You know, and I was 18 years old at the time.
Cut the middleman, baby.
Yeah. So that's what I did. So I started searching. I got the yellow pages out. I looked for polyester bag, you know, and a sealant. You know, so I found a company in Santa Ana. They sell bags, polyester bags, and then I found the same company told me where to buy the sealer, and it was like a few $100. I went into my business for myself.
Was that your first real business, right?
Yeah.
Well, real business, except you didn't know you had to get a health department.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. I'm 18 years old.
I wouldn't know either.
Yeah, and so that was a great experience for me because it was a real, first real business I started to actually hire people. I had to actually write a check, buy goods. I had to open a business checking account and get an office.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like swap meet taking stuff from my patio. So it was good. I was pretty proud of myself. I was 18. I was like, wow, I'm a boss, I used to go to payphones and put, these little tear-off sheets, earn $500 a week. Yeah. I did the same thing I saw in the ad, you know.
Model success.
Yeah, and it was great. I was making $3,000-4,000 a month cash. I had 4 people working for me after 3 months. And then until I sold nuts to the wrong guy. Yeah. And that was the health inspector.
Gosh.
Shot me down. But again, that wasn't really a failure, I think.
No, it's not. It made you know that, hey, if you want to open up a business, you got to do your research of what's required, right? Yep. You can't just open up a business and, there's things required to have a legitimate business. That's what it taught you. At 18, who knows that?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And so, whether it's hard way or easy way, you're still learning.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like everything's a lesson, right? So I took that, and then I had about $20-some thousand saved up. After 4 or 5 months, I had the nut business, and then I'm like, my dad's friend owned a brokerage firm that they sold gas stations and businesses.
So you had $20,000 saved up from your nut business.
Yeah,
that's pretty damn good. You know, because at 18 years old, most people will make money and will go spend it all.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
I mean? So you were saving.
Good
Good for you, man.
Yeah, when you come here with no money, and then you make some money, you're not gonna go out and buy a Valentino suit, you know. I did buy a Valentino suit years later. So my dad's friend says, hey, I could get you guys a gas station with SPA 10% down, and kind of pumped us up. And I'm like, really? Gas station? That's amazing. I mean, it's ironic that my dad was supposed to get his first job at a gas station. And now I'm like 19 years old and I'm buying a gas station. It was like,
you're so proud.
Amazing. Like 5 years prior to that, my dad was supposed to work at a gas station, and now his son is buying a gas station. So it was like really, really exciting for me. And of course, it didn't pan out. The guy that was supposed to
the guy ripped you off, right?
Yep.
He lied about it.
Yeah, it was a loan company in LA. I went through. He charged me all these fees. He never did anything on the loan. But I did become a mobile dealer. I went to Rancho Cucamonga for 2 weeks, learned how to measure the tanks, run the snack shop, all the stuff they do, to become a mobile dealer. So I have my plaque, which I paid $3,500 for. But again, that was a failure, but it taught me something. And it taught me never trust no one.
I mean,
do your homework.
Trust but verify, right?
Yeah.
Trust everyone but verify what they're saying. You know
exactly.
What I mean? And that's what I learned. In life. I don't want to be one of those people. I don't trust you. Hey, everybody's good, but let me do some research. Who you are, what you do.
You got to give benefit of the doubt to people, but do your homework.
Yeah, exactly. Do your homework. Absolutely, 100%.
So I didn't do my homework. I just went on this guy's, and of course,
you're from a foreign country, and somebody coming in, and you're Iran. We're pretty like we trust everyone. Everybody's good.
Everything's on a handshake.
Yeah. It's on
and
a
then
handshake.
You come here, the guy's like, but again, that was a pretty hard hit for me.
I know because he took our money, man.
Yeah, I mean it's not easy at age 19 to go and make 20 grand cash. I mean not make, but have 20 grand, And so I called one of the Winston Tire managers where I used to sell nuts to, and Ruben Padilla. I never forget. God bless him. I hope he's still alive. He was an older gentleman, and he really liked me. He used to always say, "Hey, I love your hustle." He saw me how I was like trying to sell more nuts to all his employees, in the back room, And I told him, "Hey, what happened?" And I lost my money. This guy scammed me. I'm like super depressed. He goes, "Hey, you're the biggest motivating, hustling young guy I've ever met. Why don't you come here and work for me? I run this Winston Tire in Montebello, where you sell nuts to all my employees. Everybody loves you. Just come here, and I'll hire you as assistant manager." And I didn't even have to do interview, nothing. So he hired me on the spot. So I worked there because I had no money, right? I lost all my money. So
and did you become the number one, salesperson tires and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, probably number 2 out of 170 stores.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah.
crazy.
And then they moved me to another underperforming store in Bona Park because their sales were below for me to pump their sales up. But everything I learned in life is sales.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do, anything.
So what if somebody asks you, what is the number one key to a sale, what would you say?
I would say genuine, just being genuine.
Just being genuine, right?
Yeah.
Just
people read through bullshit. If you're genuine and you're providing value, genuinely, people will buy.
Especially these days, man.
Yeah.
Everybody knows all the sales techniques and all the different things, man. You just got to become authentic, and be as transparent as possible.
Exactly.
Especially if you want a repeat buyer too. You know what I mean? You don't want just a one-time buyer and then nobody ever comes back to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One and done.
So tell me real quick. Let's fast forward to when you bought the grocery store. You bought it. You had a grocery store for a little while, right?
Yes.
And tell me about that. Because that's a huge purchase, right?
Yeah. So that one I built it. I didn't buy it.
You built it? Okay.
Yeah, I built it from scratch. I had the Winston Tire job, and then after that I started a mortgage company and realty in '93.
Oh, okay? Got it. Okay.
Yeah, '93, and then after that. When rates went up in '94, and I had about $100,000 saved.
Oh, then you closed that, right? Did you close it?
I closed it.
And you got to.
I closed it, and then I had a partner back then. I told my partner Mark, I'm like, "Hey, we got this money saved, and let's do something with it." He goes, "Hey, the discount stores are doing good." So we opened the first 79 cents plus store in Santa Ana, and everything was 98 cents, 99 cents plus. We did 79 cents.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, you got to think out of the box and go lower,
Yeah.
Of course, it's teaser. You have some items for 79, but
of course,
it's 79 cents
that gets them in the door.
Yeah. We did that for a while. That did great. We opened the second location, And then we're like, hey, why not just convert it to supermarket? Because in Santana, produce and meat is a big
thing, yeah.
huge business. So we spent another $100,000 putting refrigeration, made it into a full-blown supermarket in the Santana location. And we were killing it. We were making like 30, 40 grand a month.
And then that's when Food for Less came, right?
Food for Less came and opened right
See,
next to us.
I read your book.
Yeah.
I know what you...
That was a second failure. It got so bad. I mean, I think that was actually much harder for me than the last two failures, because at that time I had the taste for success and money at a $100,000 car, at a 500 SL, at a Lexus LS 400, at a nice, amazing home in Irvine.
Really quick. So what was your first really nice car? So I know you had the Honda Accord.
Mm-hmm.
When did you actually go and say, you bought your very first?
I bought a 300 Mercedes 300E, Mercedes 300E in 93 when I started making money in mortgage.
And you were how old?
93, I was 22.
Okay, so at 22, you had a 300E. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I put Lorenzo wheels on a deep dish. Remember those deep dish?
Lorenzo in the Benzo.
Yeah, and I lowered the springs.
Oh,
put a
God.
boom box in the trunk.
Oh, you fit right into Santa Ana.
Yeah.
You're a Santa Ana gangster right there, man.
Yeah, the good old days.
Hey, you got to send me a picture. I'm sure you have a picture. You got to send me a picture.
Yeah, I do.
I will die. All right.
And then after that, in 94, I bought a $100,000 car. It was a 500 SL, which back then it was the epitome of success.
Yes, 500 SL. Yeah, the 500 convertible. Yeah. Especially, so I think that's like the Persian. Persian.
Yeah,
like
a lot of Persians love the Mercedes.
That's the 500 SL, the Persian.
Yeah,
thing.
I bought that, and I bought a brand new LS 400 Lexus. That was another really cool car back then. And got a house in Irvine, and then the Food for Less thing happened.
Yeah.
And then instantly within the first grand opening weekend, our sales cut in 50%.
Wow.
And that was I'm like, whoa, okay, it's just because they're just open. It's grand opening. Next weekend we're gonna pick up, sales again, right? Pick back up, and that didn't happen. It just got worse. Eventually my partner says, hey, not only we're not making 30, 40 grand a month, we gotta put money back in the business. And he said, hey, I'm not interested.
So you bought him out.
I bought him out.
Yep.
And then I had to lay off some people.
And then you actually went inside and started working it yourself.
Yeah. Well, I was always working it myself more than, I hate to say more than my partner. And I was working basically 5 days, 6 days a week. But when he was out and I had to save the business because it was losing money,
you were there pretty much.
I was putting 7 days a week. I was actually doing the cashier,
So okay, here's what I want to know for the viewers, for people who are listening to this. You weren't a boss that said, you know what, I'm not going to work. If it's going to fail, it's going to fail. A lot of people, once we get to a certain level, like a CEO, they're like, well, that's beneath me. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? But you didn't care. You're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm a CEO. I don't care. I'm the owner. If I need to clean the toilet, I'm going to clean the toilet. If I need to be a cashier, I need to be a cashier. If I need to work 7 days a week, 7 days. Yeah. You did whatever the fuck it took.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing was beneath you. Because it's your business, your hustle, your money. And sometimes, man, when we climb to the ladder, at this point, man, you were pretty successful. You had a house in Irvine, a couple of nice cars, and now you're going back to zero. But you weren't afraid of it. You went back and you did whatever you could. And a lot of times we lose that. As we become successful, some jobs now all of a sudden are beneath us. You know what I mean? And that's never been you.
No, and it shouldn't be for anybody that wants to be an entrepreneur, a business owner. You gotta do everything from, first of all, you gain the respect of all your employees.
Yes, 100%.
Right?
100%.
They see the boss is doing, anything in the company, right? And then second of all, it keeps you humble, because the worst thing you want to get is become egotistic to a point where your ego takes the best of you.
So true.
And I've seen so many people fail.
So true.
Because they become so big, and then all of a sudden they think they're too big to fail, this, that, and then next thing you know, things change, and then they're stuck into that.
So true.
Yeah, but I ended up selling my home, my 2 cars. It got so bad after a year that, I was negative net worth. Going from, having hundreds of thousands of dollars to be negative, and I start borrowing my credit cards.
So already I see 3 failed businesses, right?
Yep.
The nut business, the mortgage business, and the supermarket. So
Yeah.
you
Well, the
already
gas station.
Yeah, the gas station. Yeah. Well, I never even started, but you got ripped off, right? So I see 4 times that you got your face smashed in.
Yep.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
why your book is called Driven.
Yep.
Because you got your face smashed, and you kept going.
Yeah, you have to. You don't have a choice. You know, in my life, you know, it's only one way. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That. I mean, I'm sitting here just absorbing the character. You know what you have done. I'm serious, man. I love it. I'm just like sitting here. I'm just like looking at nuggets and stuff like that. Okay.
That's
So
awesome.
so then after that, when did you start? You know, the Khoshbin company.
Yeah, so the Khoshbin company was formed in 2005, but how I got into Khoshbin company and like investing in commercial real estate is while I was trying to sell my supermarket, because everybody told me file bankruptcy, you're losing your ass every month, and you've borrowed money. I had borrowed money from family, friends, my credit cards, 180 grand on my credit cards, paying 22% interest rate. Yeah, I was paying 4,000 a month interest, give or take, per month. And I didn't have money. I was just borrowing to just keep it, you know, stay
Keep it
alive.
going, yeah.
Everybody says, file bankruptcy, you rebuild your credit within 3 to 5 years. I'm like, no, this country is built on credit.
Yeah.
You know, I learned early on, you know, that, you know, if you learn the system, use the system, and it's all credit based, you know. And it's all about, you know, using your credit to leverage, you know, business opportunities. So if I file bankruptcy, I'm dead for 7 years, you know, and and on top of that, you know, it's a failure, you know, I can't accept failure, you know. It's okay to, you know, close a business and go on a better opportunity. To me, that's not a failure. But to give up,
to give up, you know,
to give up
for like 7 years, basically.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it's basically like death, you know. So I said, the business is losing money anyway. Why don't I just drop the prices and advertise and get the sales up and just sell it, you know? And that's what I did. It took me 8-9 months. I almost doubled the sales. I was bringing stuff, you know, VO5 shampoo, Aquanet hairspray. I was selling for 50 cents, where Food for Less was selling it for 99 cents. So those are teaser items to bring people in. And then I was bringing musicians, Mexican bands on weekends and giving free tacos. So I said, you go shop inside. When you come out, bring your receipt, you get a free taco. So that like doubled my sales on weekends. So you have to think out of the box, get creative.
That wasn't in your book, was it?
No.
Okay, because I was like, I was like, wait a second, that was not in your book, man. Because I'm like looking at it like, that is genius.
Yeah,
you know, that is genius.
You know, Spanish people love good music and they love food.
I'm married to a Mexican family, man.
So there you go.
Yeah, tacos, they're there.
Oh, I love tacos.
Mariachi, they're there, bro. You put mariachi. That is, you know, it's funny. It's funny because I'm gonna tell you really quick. When I came to America, my uncle had a store in the hood, in the worst neighborhood in Sheridan, Pennsylvania. And one time he goes, Sam, you want to see the store get busy, you know? And he went and got the boombox. He turned it up and he put some, you know, the latest like rap song at the time. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, he got flooded. So I see the bait now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, people love, you know, entertainment and food, you know. Yeah. So I did that, the sales went up, and I ended up selling the business to, it was a Persian guy actually that first offered on it. So, and then he tried to retrade me and then says, oh, your lease is not favorable. Your landlord didn't, you know, negotiate a good lease. So he backed out. And then I said, well, your time has lapsed. You know, it's $15,000 deposit. Your deposit is not refundable. So he sued me for the $15,000. We ended up going to court. While I'm waiting in court with my landlord, Mr. Williams, which was a super wealthy older man. And he says, you know, you remind me so much of my, young, early young days. And, you know, what are you doing selling, you know, tacos and meat and stuff? I mean,
get into real estate, right?
He said, I came to Orange County in the 1950s with a small little lemonade stand. And now he owned like $700 million worth of real estate, right? And he says, sell this business. When you're done, come see me, you know. So that's what I did. That guy defaulted. I ended up selling it to 2 Korean brothers for $185,000. And I didn't pay my credit cards because if I did, I had nothing left. So I put that money in the stock market and I got lucky. This was December 1998. By September 1999, I had almost 700 grand.
Okay. 180,000 went to 700,000 on stock market.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a lesson that I'm, for people who are watching this. Okay, So you took that money and you invested it. So you were willing to take a risk.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and in life, I believe that if you're not willing to take a risk, you won't go anywhere.
won't get
You
the
have
reward.
to take. You don't want to take stupid risk. You don't want to throw your
Yeah.
money at a stupid thing. But stock market is a pretty most of the time, the trend is up.
Yeah,
right?
trend
so,
is up,
so,
yeah.
so is real estate over time.
Yeah.
If you're patient. So rather than you're like, oh my god, go let me go pay this. You took that money and invested it, and you nearly tripled your money.
Yeah. Well, I did my research too. I didn't jump in there. I started investing in March, I think February, March of 1999. So I waited 2-3 months. I logged into my AOL and I started reading about AOL, E-Trade, CMGI, Brocade Communication, all these companies that were splitting every quarter on earning announcements, So I watched my other friends that are also making a lot of money trading stocks. So I was very cautious. I took calculated risk. And then when it became too good to be true, I cashed out, which was September. All my friends says, you're crazy. You're going to make millions. If you just keep your money in there, they're splitting 3-4-1 every earning. I'm like, dude, I just came from a 2-year beat down.
Yeah.
And I got 700 grand. I left 80 grand in there. I took 600 some thousand out. I went up, called Mr. Williams, my landlord, and I said, I'm ready. So he sent me.
How old are you at this time?
This was 1999. So 28.
28. Okay, so to 28 years old, you have 700 grand, and that 700 grand in 1999 is probably like $7 million today. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, right? So okay, so $700,000.
So I took that money. He sent me his broker. He showed me 3 deals in Orange County shopping centers, and then I liked one because the seller was desperate. He had multiple price reductions. It was in Whittier actually, and he said seller carryback. I'm like, great. I don't have to, because my income tax return didn't show that well, because the store was losing money. Long story short, I ended up buying a shopping center for, I think, $690,000 in Whittier. So I put some money down there, and then I bought 2 other homes, REO, in Santa Ana. And then I fixed it up, and then that jump-started my commercial real estate. And then I got lucky in 2000. I found a REO shopping center in Santa Ana. And ironically, universe works in a weird way.
You said a couple of times, I got lucky, right? And I don't think it's luck, because you wouldn't have found that if you weren't looking.
That's true.
Luck is like, hey, I'm just sitting here, fucking shit just falls on fucking, you know what I mean? You were fucking hustling every day, right? So, there's that quote that says, the harder I work, the luckier I get. You know what I mean?
It's true.
It's not like you found it, right?
Yeah.
At what age did you make your first million?
I was going to get to that. So I bought that shopping center. It was boarded up property right across from post office on First Street in Santa Ana. And I used to drive by there all the time, and it was boarded up. I was trying to find out who's the owner. I'm like, this is a gem. It's the whole block. It's been boarded up. Who owns it? Why nobody's doing nothing with it? So one morning, I'm checking my mailbox at post office, and I see 2 guys over there with a truck, doing something to the door. It's boarded up building. And I, sprint over there with my car, and I'm like, hey, are you the new owner? He goes, yeah, I work for El Dorado Bank. We just took it at the trustee sale. We took it back. I'm like, I've been trying to, find who's the owner. I want to buy it, because my supermarket was 2 blocks away. Yeah. And I had sold that. Now I have money. I'm like, this is a fixer-upper. Great opportunity. So I told them who's going to list it. They said, Walter Pagel at Grubb & Ellis. Here's his number. So I called the guy. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, don't worry, you're going to get the listing. When can you do lunch?
Yeah. You beat it to him.
Yeah. He's like, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like, don't worry, let's just do lunch. I'm a real estate investor. You're going to get this listing. I talked to so-and-so. They just took this property. They're going to send you the listing. And so he says, let me confirm some data. I'll get back to you. So he called me 2 days later. He goes, yeah, it's coming. So I had lunch with him. I said, hey, I'm a real estate broker. You can keep all the commission. I just want to get a good deal. Don't list it. Find out what the bank wants, and we'll work out a deal. So I ended up buying that property for $660,000, and I, did some minor landscaping remodel, and I ended up signing for $1.6 million, and that was my first $1 million.
How did that feel? Seriously, how did that feel? Because we're grown up and says, hey, millionaire. Millionaire, right?
Yeah.
How did that feel when you first saw 7 figures in your bank account?
it's kind of independence,
You know what I mean?
financial
Like,
independence. You know, it's right now. If you tell somebody, hey, $1,000,000, it is a lot of money, but it's really not.
no,
You
no,
know?
yeah,
But
absolutely.
back then, for me, from going from 4 failures to
Living in a
zero,
car.
living in a car, 4 failed, down to
Business,
0 failures, and then getting to the supermarket and getting beat down 100 hours a week for 2 years working with no money, and then getting to $1,000,000 2 years, literally less than 2 years later. It was obviously a huge accomplishment, exciting. I really felt for first time in my life I have power.
Yeah, I mean, this is
because-
what we all been ever since we were little kids. We're chasing millionaire,
Yeah.
millionaire, right? And when that happened, I remember the first time I hit $1 million, and I literally pulled over to the side of the road, and I called some friends that I was like, look,
Yeah.
today is what this is the day, this is
Yeah.
the day, this is the day, and I always wanted to know, I don't know if you ever done this or not, I always want to know how much 1 million is in cash. How much does it take? How much space does it take? You know what I mean? And I went to the bank and I said I want to withdraw $1 million, and they're like, looked at me, they're like, well, first of all, we don't have it.
Yep,
we don't have
you gotta
it.
call ahead,
And second of all, we can only give it to you at $100,000 increments. That's what bank's requirement.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? And then they had me sign a waiver that if I get robbed or killed or something like that,
Really?
they're not responsible. You
Yeah.
know, and so I had to go back 10 times to get $100,000.
Oh my God.
And I never forget. I put it in a suitcase. I just wanted to see what it looked like. And I took it back to the bank. I just wanted to see, and I took a picture. Kind of like Floyd Mayweather style.
Yeah.
I just wanted. For my own thing. And to this day, I have a picture of it. And I'm like, man, I just had to do that. This is one of my
That's pretty
goals.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that was then your first. That's when you saw the power of commercial
Cash. Yeah.
commercial building. Getting something, fixing it up, and selling it for a lot more. And that's when you went all in.
Yeah, and that was really a point in my life where I started using cash to my power. I started buying apartment buildings in Long Beach, and now I have cash, so I can offer very quick short-term escrow and non-refundable deposit.
I saw that in your book.
So
yeah.
it's amazing how much you can use that to your power, to your advantage, because there's a lot of people that are selling property out of desperation and they need the money.
Yeah.
So if you can act quick, and you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing and what you're buying and what you could do to the property, the cash is like, you can earn 10-20% right up front.
That it's so funny you say that, because in 2008 or 2009, I came to this development.
Yeah.
And
here?
in this development, because this was the development back then they were developing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to buy a home, and I had like 500 grand saved, and I thought I was the man.
Yeah.
I thought I was the man. Nobody in my family ever been around that. And I came in here, and the smallest home they have here is just a track home.
Yeah.
This is a custom home. So it was a track home was 1.6. So I had like my little pimp stroll. I thought I was the man. I thought I was rich. You know what I mean? I came here. You give them 500. I have 500 grand. I'm pre-qualified for a loan. This and that. And every time I got outbid by a cash offer, I got lost every bit. And so I literally went back with my tail behind my legs. I was like, oh my God, I lost the house because people had cash, right? So I went back to the drawing board, and like I said, 2-3 years ago, I came back. And this one, I'm like, this one, man, is 3.2 cash. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want nobody outbid me, nobody. So I learned my lesson, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Cash goes a long ways.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that, using cash to my advantage, and I end up, buying, selling over 200 units in Long Beach, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta, pivot. In life, everything's about pivoting from one thing to another. Stepping stones, right? So I started looking at office buildings out of a state, because California, it's like I gotta expand my territory.
Yeah.
Right? So I started going on internet. Thank God to internet now. You can kind of get on there and search anything you want. So I started looking at Houston, 4th largest city in the nation. A lot of movement, a lot of liquidity in real estate, a lot of product to cherry pick from. So I started teaching myself, researching different zip codes, And I realized the area closer to airport is very active at businesses, because a lot of people fly in for meetings. So I started buying smaller buildings, 3-4 story buildings. I bought 3 buildings. I think on my first visit, I flew there in 2004. I met with the broker. He showed me 5 buildings. I bought 3 of them on the spot. We went to his office, wrote the offer, and I flew back the same day. I bought it for, I think, $9.7 million. I put $3 million down. But the nice thing is, I had the experience already with negotiating and adding and flipping. So I already knew there's meat on the bone on these properties, because I've already done it, for 3-4 years prior. And what was nice is I bought the buildings, and then California had kind of plateaued 2004 to 2007. You didn't get a huge price appreciation, and people were selling in that time and doing 1031 exchange. Where they want to take their money?
Yeah.
Arizona and Houston, Miami, New York. So Houston was one of the cities where I got a lot of California money moving into it, and I was ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So
you saw the trend.
Yeah. So by 2007, I had $130 million worth of real estate, all in Houston, mostly all of it in Houston. And I sold in 2007. Most of them California buyers.
Yeah.
So, I was a contrarian. I bought when people were selling in Houston. I bought from Houston, owners.
Well, that's what Warren Buffett does, right? Warren Buffett says, if you want to be successful, look at what people are doing, do the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Because most people,
And your book, The Contrarian, it was the exact,
1%er. See,
1%, right?
Sounds good.
So I know, you learned a very expensive lesson at one time, even though after you had a lot of success, you learned that a single tenant building,
don't bring that up.
And I remember we were at that time we were hanging out a lot. At that time we were hanging out a lot. I was over your house a lot of times, and I know that was some rough times with you, and all that kind of stuff. You were you were going through a lot of rough times, and the cool thing is that every successful entrepreneur goes through rough, up and down.
Of course,
but people don't. A lot of people can't handle that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people. You say, of course, because you know it and you've been through it. But a lot of people, when they get into entrepreneurship, they think it's this lavish lifestyle. It's not, because it has a lot of ups and downs and lots of ups and downs. So tell me about the lesson that you learned in real estate about a single tenant building.
Yeah. Well, single tenant building is all in, basically. Is all or none. So with this particular investment, we bought a building for $17 million in Houston, and it was a subsidiary of Boeing, the tenant that occupied the building, and they handle all the communication with the Discovery shuttle. And I'm like, they spent $20 million, fiber optics, so much infrastructure they put in the building. They're not going to go anywhere. That's what the broker was telling me, right? So we bought the building that had 5-year lease with 3 5-year option, and the cap rate was like 8.5. So we put $5 million down, and our return was like 18 to 20% cash on cash. With a Boeing, as your credit tenant, it was like, how can you go wrong? And what are the chances of NASA not giving him the contract? Renewing their contract. It's a government contract, because they're the main vendor for NASA. And guess what happened? SpaceX, came by, Elon Musk, and he got awarded the contract. 3 years after I bought it, I got a FedEx letter, and from our tenant, USA, which was the name of the tenant. They said, we didn't get the contract from NASA renewed. We're going to be moving out of the building. And my heart just dropped. I'm like, whoa, I just got punched in the gut.
Oh my God.
And that's all or none. It was none at that point. And sadly, I had some partners in there. I was 50% partner. I put $2.5 million of my own money. Then I had like 18, 19 other family friends that put money in there, which one of them,
Yeah.
And that was a hard thing for me to swallow. I didn't care so much about my money, to be honest with you. I felt more pressure and guilt for all these other 18, because, I can always make the money back, but some of these people, like my own sister, she borrowed money on her home, $500,000, and she put in there, so all that money was, gone. They got the distribution for a couple of years, so they got some of that money back. But people always look at their equity they put in.
Oh yeah,
They don't care. You could give them money for 10 years distribution. If they put $1 million, they want $1 million back after 10 years. Doesn't matter, So that was an expensive lesson. So now I never buy a single tenant. I don't care if it's God occupying.
Yeah.
Just
really quick, going back, I know you went through this, and I'm going through this, in a smaller scale sometimes as I climb the ladder of success.
Sure.
I know, you have helped so many people make so much money. You have literally made so many people millionaires. And
I'm happy to hear that.
You have. You have made many people millionaires. Yeah, made people so much money. Some of them that I know, like I said, I know that they pretty much didn't do shit, sit home and just collect a bunch of checks, and they did that's and they didn't even care about progressing anymore. You know what I mean? Like sort of regress. And then when the going is good, everybody is your friend.
Yeah, that one time.
One time, all of a sudden something doesn't turn, like NASA doesn't renew. Then you get all of a sudden all these people harping at you, and next thing you know, they're turned against you. I've had several experiences. Matter of fact, I'm going through that kind of experience right now. You know what I mean? How did that? I mean, that's kind of crushing, right? And then what did you learn from that?
Yeah.
What did you learn from people do you help so much in over the years?
Yeah.
And if one thing goes wrong, all of a sudden they're your enemy.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's the nature of doing business with people, and sadly, when you're doing business with family and friends, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Because their expectations are even more.
Yeah.
They're like, "Come on, you got so much money." This particular person in that LLC that sued me was an old friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I took their $13,000 from their 401k. I bought them a fourplex. I turned it to $1.3 million
I know.
within 6 years, and they took $700,000, put it in this deal, which we know what happened to it, and then they took the rest of the $600,000 and put it with some developer that I had no idea, and that was complete fraud. I mean, they lost that money. But long story short is, he turned around, sued me for $1 million. I'm like, I made all this money. A lot of these buildings, that I flipped for them, they didn't even end up seeing the building. But anyway, long story short, what I learned from it is to expect it.
Yeah. You have to expect it.
It comes with territory.
It's so good.
Right now, I have 4 lawsuits. It's my attorney says just put this much aside for legal fees per year. A guy in your, stature, you have to expect that. All these businesses that have legal department, they have budget for settlements. I have ADA this. This guy fell down. One guy didn't like the color of my T-shirt. He's suing me. I'm just kidding.
No, it's true though. It's true.
They can sue you for anything.
I remember when I first started my business. I got like a small claims. Claim for like $500. It crushed me. I was like, oh my God. I was hurt. And now, like you said, I just expect it. As you climb the ladder of success,
you become even more target. You become a target.
What do you do now? Because obviously you are a very successful, very wealthy man. You're all over social media. People see you and all that kind of stuff. They see the cars, they see the mansions and the buildings and all that kind of stuff. What do you do to protect yourself? Because now it's not only you. I mean, look, if everything goes away from you, you're okay. Now you have children to protect,
of course.
And a wife to protect. What systems? What do you have in place?
The most important thing is get your legal documents in order. So have a very good estate planning in place. So I have a great law firm that only handles, estate planning, protection, everything's in LLCs. I got umbrella after umbrella. I have 5 tier, of insurance. Yeah. And then lastly, I don't do business with anybody. I own everything myself. I used to have partners, but after that lawsuit, I wrote a check to everybody. I closed it. I said, I don't need this. I was trying to help people,
Yeah.
So you learn with, every deal you make.
I remember you turned me down. I remember calling you. Yeah. I remember. I didn't know what was going on. I remember calling you. I'm like, Manny, I got a couple of million. I want to invest and stuff like that. He goes, bro, I love you, man, but right now I'm not dealing with nobody.
Yeah.
And I was like,
but as a businessman, it's not good way. It's not a good way to look at those type of incidences because you don't want to be jaded and like closed doors.
Yeah.
So I mean, I am going to come out with my own fund, but it's going to have a full disclosure, this, that. I mean, I was doing it basically in a handshake.
You know, do it as we're friends. Let's do this together. Let's grow together as a good thing. But now you have to make sure everybody knows everything and what's going on. It's full, it's signed. You know this ahead of time. I get it.
Yeah, I didn't have disclosures before because they were all family friends.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't tell them, hey, this could go down to zero. But, you know, when you invest money, you have to accept the fact you're taking some risk. It's not 100%. Nothing is 100%, right? I could get out here and, you know, get ahead with a car on the freeway right now, you know? It's not 100%. I want to get back, you know, perfect.
Awesome.
You know?
And now I want to ask you, you know, about what you're doing, you know, because for years, you know, I've been bugging you.
Yeah.
You know, I've been bugging you. I said, Manny, you need to tell your story. Manny, you're inspirational. Manny, you know, you need to have a mastermind. Manny, you need to do this. You know, I've been telling you that. You know what I mean? Because you know, I mean, I look up to you. You know, you've inspired me. You know, you inspire me. You know, and you know, I'm like, man, you need to help other people and all that kind of stuff. Then all of a sudden, you know, you decided, okay, maybe I'm going to do that, right? So what made you change your mind, and what are you doing right now with the M3 Millionaire Mastermind, and what are because obviously I know for a fact you don't need the money, no,
and it's actually
you lose money, you lose the money on this, you know what I mean? I know, you know, like I said, but tell me, like, why all of a sudden now, you know, you decided that, you know, what changed?
Well, really, it's all the emails and direct messages I get. Everybody says, okay, they all have questions about real estate. Hey, is it time to buy? Is it not time to buy? I have 2 homes, 2 of them are paid off. Should I get a HELOC on one, or should I sell one? And you know, I don't have time to respond to each one. I'm like, okay, maybe I can put a group together and then just kind of do videos where it will address most, you know, common questions they have. Kind of like you know, a private Facebook group, and that was one way I wanted to really help people and pass on my knowledge. And of course, you know, I'm charging a small monthly membership fee, subscription. But now I'm realizing it's taking so much time. It's like, I thought it's going to be a couple hours a week, but now you got to shoot content, this, and you know how it is, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Editing, all this stuff. People think, oh, it's easy. You know, you're just going to go on there and do a selfie and do a video. So it's a little bit of a learning curve for me because up to now, I didn't have to teach. You know, I was learning like a sponge, you know, just knowledge and trying different businesses and fail, learn, improve, go back out there, do it again. But now I got to actually teach it. And when, you know, teaching is an art, you know, you know, you can, you know, to make somebody understand what you're trying to do, especially in real estate that gets complicated with different types of assets and financing and leverage and risk and all this stuff. So, but I'm putting the content together. I'm excited to build courses, you know, for, you know, beginners, intermediate, and then people that are already investors in commercial real estate, but they want to scale up. And you know, real estate really is simple and it's not, you know, but 99% of it is timing. You know, you could throw a dart in, you know, 2009, 2010, buy any property. Just throw a dart and land on any property and wait 4 years, you doubled your money, you know? And then you could, you know, work so hard to find the best deal in 2007 and you lose your ass. So 99% is timing. And I've been fortunate to be able to spot the cycles.
So would you say that, is it spottable?
Easy.
You can spot.
It's not easy.
It's not easy? But
you can't pinpoint where the shit's gonna hit the fan,
but
the writing's on the wall.
Got it.
Okay. I mean, you can see it's kind of like, you know, someone's doing a marathon. You know they're running out of air, right?
Got it.
Right now, 10 years, the economy has been going up, and you can see it's getting tired. You know, you can see it in the stock market for 18 months. You know, the Wilshire 5000 hasn't hit new high. You know, you can see it's getting tired. Companies are, you know, revising downward the earnings. You know, a stock market has been one of the great indicators for me because it's always forward thinking. People are always putting assumptions. You know, if the economy is going to get better, the stock market's already ahead, right? So that employment, small businesses, you know, people really don't have money, and the housing expense has doubled, you know, in the past 10 years, doubled. And then forget food costs. I mean, you used to buy a loaf of bread, you know, for 99 cents, you know, 7-8 years ago. Now it's $5, you know, eggs, milk. You go to grocery store. I mean, I don't know how people are doing on minimum wage. And, I don't know either. You know, and then the number of homeless people you hear, you know. So the news, you know, for most part, it's fake news. You know, they don't tell you how bad things get. They just talk about it.
It's funny because I just, you know, for a minute, I turned on the news yesterday. And it says homeless population right now is going up in LA. So that, it's funny you just say that.
It went up 16%. Yeah,
Gosh,
since a year ago.
You know what I noticed? You know what I noticed about you? You know the actual data. You look at data.
Yeah.
You study data. I mean, 16%. You study, so you know what exactly to look for.
Well, it's all. This is how I, basically get my, intuition.
Yes.
It's not,
like,
nobody tells me my dreams or sleep. I watch the stock market. I study all the economic reports, and and then I see what's going on with people's businesses. And of course having properties in 4 different states, with a lot of them all being businesses, it helps too, because when I see my tenants start bouncing checks, all over the place, and they're telling me business is slow. Hey, I'm hearing it firsthand.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will, let go of their home, way before they close their business down, right? Yeah. So housing gets hit first. And you can see the housing has already been slowing down. So the writing's on the wall.
So in your prediction, in the next year or two, we're gonna have a recession. Do you think it's gonna be as
bad as 2008? Everybody asks me.
Yeah, do you think it's gonna be as bad as 2008?
There is 2 sides to that story. So not as bad, okay? But it all depends with corporate credit. We're at the all-time high corporate credit. Student loans all-time high, $1.6 trillion of student loans. But the caveat to that is the interest rate was at 6% when we hit 2008. So the Fed had 6% to drop to 0 to give a really boost, to the businesses, by dropping the rate 6% to 0. But now it's at 2.5.
There's not much.
There's not enough. There's not enough bullets in there, to kind of jumpstart the economy if it gets really bad.
Okay.
So it all depends how bad it's going to get. I don't know, but how much ammunition the Fed has, not much.
Okay,
so that's
the I think what Manny is saying, for you guys are listening, right now is probably a good time to put some money aside.
100%, because the storm is coming.
The storm is coming. It's a good time for your money aside, because from what I study, when I study the rich, when I study people like Manny, what he does, he stacks money aside. And when everything's on sale, on recession, you buy, like you said, like in 2007, you throw a dart at any property, you double your money, right?
Yeah.
So your money is on sale, so you go pick it up. And then you just sit back and just,
let the market do its work.
Yeah, that's
and the thing is, you make your money on the buy. If you buy a property, will historically always go up like a stock market. If you look at a chart, there was periods of obviously Great Depression where things were stagnant, flat, or going down. And then 73, 74 was a bad bear market where stock market didn't go anywhere. But if you zoom out and look at it as a 60, 100-year chart, which how everyone should look at it, because you're leaving it for your kids, your descendants, then things are always going up. So if you buy something that was at 100,000 for 65,000, 35%, it will go to 100 and go higher.
Absolutely.
So you just it's
all
about
you have to be patient. You have to be patient.
Yeah, the biggest wealths have always been made in bear markets and recessions. For
that is so true. That is so true. And actually,
so be patient.
Actually, Tony Robbins, confirms that in Unshakable, his book Unshakable. So really quick, for people who are watching this or listening to this, take me through. Let's just say we wanted to buy a commercial real estate right now. Let's just say we want to buy, for people, because yesterday when I asked everyone what question you have, I got flooded. Oh, ask him this, ask him that. But one of the things that came out, was how do you go? What is like the ABCs of, say, you buying a commercial real estate? So take me through exactly like what you're looking for if you were going to go buy a commercial real estate right now.
Sure. Well, first things first, I look at a property that can add value. If there's a property, let's say brand new shopping center with 4 tenants, a Starbucks, Quiznos, 7-Eleven, and cleaners, I don't buy that property. There's nothing I can do to it. It's fully leased. It's new shopping center. So I've never bought anything like that. So I look at for a property that's got some vacancy, it needs some TLC, 10-11 care, and the rents are below market, price per foot is below market. So basically, there's got to be some kind of a value add play to the property. And once you identify that, and you can check the comps and see, okay, this is the property now, and this is what a block away, similar properties, getting rents and
maybe a newer commercial building.
Exactly. Okay. So you just kind of check out the comps, and if there's enough meat on the bone, then I make an aggressive offer, and then art of negotiation is a whole different subject.
It's a whole different subject. Yes.
How to get the most discount and use the best, way to leverage against the seller. But so how I identify the property that you can add value.
Okay.
And then purchase it, and then have a game plan. But more importantly, back to what I said, you got to be buying it at the right time.
At the right
Even
time.
if you identify that in 2007.
Yeah, you're right. Got it.
Nobody wants to
That's
lease
so
in
true.
recession.
Yeah.
People are, backtracking. They're downsizing.
So that's
First, wait for the right time. When the right time is here, you'll know, because you'll see everyone, talking about we're in recession, unemployment's going up, people are losing their homes, there's a lot of foreclosures. That's the time you start looking, and then find something that you can add value, and then go to work.
Okay, so let's say somebody, because a lot of people think that, like, that you really need to have a lot of money, to be able to like do things like this. Do you, or can you start with like little, smaller amount of money or whatever? Because people see you're like, oh my God, you need to have millions of dollars, and you need to do this and that.
No. I mean, you can start with almost no money. I mean, get your license first, and dive into that real estate community. And sometimes you don't have money, but you find a diamond in the rough.
Yes.
And then, but by then you've built your network of investors, people that they're looking for a diamond in the rough. Say, hey, I found this deal. Here's my commission. I want to put my commission into the deal. Plus, I'll manage it. I'll do the construction management, TIs, tenant. I'll do all the leasing. I'm a broker, and I want 20% of the upside plus my commission. I've done that before when I had no money, and now you just got your foot in the door, and then you take that money. You're in the LLC as a partner with the investor, and you do 1031 exchange. 2 years later, you sell it for a profit. Now all of a sudden you have 200, 300, 400 grand, and you jumpstart.
Look, what you just said was way complicated for my brain, right?
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
but because this is, look, this is me like explaining nutritional pathways to you. You know what I mean?
I would not know what the heck you're talking about.
So just like we're talking about how creatine breaks down. So this right here, what you just said, is like worth $1 million.
Yeah,
because
a lot of people don't know that you could really, if you could do anything with nothing.
And that's why, if you are looking to, get into commercial real estate, we need to build some wealth and do what you want to do. You have to, sign up for your M3 Millionaire Mastermind. What is it, like $97 a fucking month?
Yeah.
Is that because I saw it? I saw it. I'm like, dude, it's like $3 a day. I'm like, man, is this right?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. Like,
well, I'm changing the name too, because a lot of people think mastermind. They think it's like a 1 week or 2 week mastermind, and they're going to learn everything in real estate. So I'm changing it to mastermind. I'm going to keep it for like a group mastermind.
Yes.
Which we talked about.
Yes.
And then I'm going to change it to mentorship. Because really it's a real estate mentorship, mindset, success habits, how to get started, and basically be just disciplined, and stick to the action plan. Because a lot of people, the problem is they get comfortable in their routine, and they meet their friends in the afternoon after work, have a martini, come home, weekends, watch Sunday football. They get in that routine and they don't grow. And then next thing you know, 10 years went by, nothing happened.
Yeah.
And cost of living is going up, and payroll.
I hate that.
Yeah, payroll wages is not going up as much as inflation. And then next thing you know, is eating into their savings, their negative savings. They're piling up on credit card debts, and recession hits.
So you're through.
Yep.
You're through.
Bad times, yeah.
Now, if you're listening to this, many of you have messaged me on Instagram about how to get started on a commercial, building, how to start buying and selling, and you wanted to pick Manny's brain. Like, look, he just gave away seriously like a $1 million advice of how to get started in commercial real estate with zero money. If that's your stumbling block and that's your fucking excuse to not do anything, then let it be. But now he told you what he has done before himself. He came here with nothing, right? Lived in his car. He actually made money out of thin air garbage. And now, so get into the game. He told you what to do. If you didn't hear him, dude, invest in yourself. $97, man. If your future is not worth $97, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't get a red cent from this. I don't care, but I believe in what he's doing, what he has done. He has done it over and over again. And if you want to be successful, study success, man. So I appreciate you, breaking down. We're not done. We're
Thank
not done.
you.
We're not done, man. I still got a lot of questions for you, man. So no, I appreciate you breaking that out, man.
Yeah.
No, I got personal questions for you. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I have personal questions for you. So we are car enthusiasts, right?
Yes.
Out of all the cars that you have had, which one is your favorite one?
That's a hard one because every one of them is got a favorite part that I like.
Yeah.
Like Pagani, the Hermes edition Pagani, I would say probably is my favorite one because it's got the most detail, and it took me 2 years to collaborate and build it.
How did you do that? How did you collaborate with Hermes? There's other people like have Paganis and stuff like that, but you actually flew down and collaborated with Hermes, and I'm like, who does that?
Yeah. Well, it never hurts to ask, right?
Yeah, you ask.
So I shop at Hermes Satcos Plaza all the time. So I told the manager, I said, hey, do you guys ever do any collaboration on, other than belts and bags, They said, oh yeah, we have a division that does planes, trains, cars, but on a super high level, of course. And I'm like, great, can you put me in touch? So that's how I started. They did an email intro, and then I told them I'm building a car in Italy. It's called Pagani Hira, and would you guys collaborate with Mr. Pagani? They said, well, we don't do new cars. We do vintage cars and airplanes and Gulfstreams and big planes. But we're more than happy to go visit with them and sit down at the table and talk. It'd be 30,000 euros. I'm like, okay.
You wanted it bad.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, it's comes to 38 grand, for them to fly out. So the two designers and the director of Hermes Horizon flew out to Italy, met with Mr. Pagani for a whole day. And then they emailed me, says, I think we could, come to terms. Mr. Pagani is going to give up some of the design interior and some of the grill exterior, and then, we'll work in the interior in Paris, and he's going to build a car in Italy, and we're going to ship it, and they're going to do all the assembly. So, but all this happened, months and months. I mean, it didn't happen that quick. It took about a year and a half. But I think that's my favorite car because I just put so much sweat and time and lots of money.
And just the detail. That car is beautiful.
Yeah, to me, it's my Picasso on wheels.
That is just a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm working on better ones though.
I saw you.
Yeah.
I saw you in France over there, man. Believe me, man. I'm living through you vicariously. Oh my God.
Yeah, the Bugatti Chiron is gonna be unbelievable. That one's gonna they're making a batch of silk fabric only for me. Wow. Hermes is making it, so they're running it's all horses. So nobody else will have that fabric. It's gonna be in the ceiling, in the doors. It's gonna be amazing, and obviously one-off design on the seats, and a custom paint color that Hermes makes. It's called Cray, kind of like Cornish white. So I'm excited for that one, and then I have what else do I have that's super unique? I think my Bugatti Chiron is going to be my most unique.
And then you have the all carbon fiber Bugatti that I've never seen in my life. That is all carbon fiber from everything.
Yeah.
I mean that's just that's the Mansouri.
Yes.
Oh my God.
You haven't seen that car?
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I bought the new one. I bought is a Rembrandt Bugatti. That's also all carbon fiber, but because it's in bronze tint, you don't really the carbon doesn't stand out. Yeah, but that's my idea.
So all right, so I'm gonna name the car, and
I'm gonna tell you the horsepower.
No. You're gonna tell me the word that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So let's talk about P1.
I would say cheetah.
Okay.
It's super fast because it's hybrid. It's
what was that? Cura GT.
Cura GT. I would call it Bulldog.
Bulldog?
Because it bites if you don't know what you're doing.
We know what, unfortunately with Paul Walker,
Yeah.
Things like that. I never forget. I've actually told EJ that story. We were at your house one time, and you went to start it up because we were sitting there for a while and it didn't start, and you you just got out and you shook your head and goes, I need to save up for a battery now. Yeah.
Oh man, I have two cars right now. They need batteries. They didn't start up. Yeah, two of my SLRs. I was like,
Okay, speaking of SLR,
Yeah.
SLR. What word comes to your mind?
Shark. Yeah, I mean the fence on the side, the hood. I mean, to me, every car has its own character, and SLR for me, it takes a good place in my heart because it's just so much went into it between McLaren and Mercedes for that 6 years they build these cars, and it's never going to get repeated because McLaren is building their own cars now, and it has a lot of Formula One technology. And what I love more than anything is value, right? Just like real estate. So SLRs, I'm buying them for half price, based on a sticker. I have like 2 SLRs.
And they're just going to appreciate. They're going to appreciate. I mean,
eventually, because it's a super limited supercar built in that era where Carrera GT and Enzo was born and Ford GT, and this is the only car out of those group that hasn't really appreciated. And I think it's been 15 years now. I think another 5-10 years it becomes a classic, and just like the Gull Wings, they're selling for 1.5 million, and these are selling for 200 to 300 grand. Half the sticker, like I bought a SLR that's got 300 miles on it. I paid 300, and the sticker's 560.
Yeah, beautiful.
From 560 to 300. So I look at it as a value, and I'm parking my money. And sometimes it's a expensive habit, collecting cars. Yeah. But I'm a strategic. I don't just go out and buy any car and pay premium.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm a smart with my money. Yeah. You have to be.
Of course, of course. How about the Bugatti?
The Rembrandt.
No, what is it? Not the one.
The Mansouri.
The Mansouri.
The Mansouri Bugatti. That's an interesting one because it's not factory. It was aftermarket done. I would call it a Russian skier. No, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to call our.
I mean, when you drive a Bugatti, from what I know, it's very smooth, but this also picks up really fast.
Oh, yeah. It's a private jet on wheels.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. 16 cylinders, 4 turbos, the biggest, manufacturer tires they make for a road car on the rear. So a lot of grip, 4-wheel drive, and you got all that thrust and, torque behind you, sitting right behind your seat. So you can feel it, all the turbos and spools kicking in. Yeah, it's crazy. My favorite. It's the most exhilarating car to drive, and still feel safe.
Yeah, feel safe. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the P1 is extremely exhilarating, but it makes my hands sweat.
Yeah, Bugatti doesn't. Oh my God, I'm going to crash.
Yeah, you're done. I mean, Bugatti is 4,600 pounds, 4-wheel drive. That car is 3,000 horsepower, and they detune it to 1,001 because they want to make it, safe. Yeah. Versus other cars, they'll push it all the way to the limit, and you blow the engine. You do this, you do that, blow transmission.
How about your Koenigsegg?
Koenigsegg. Well, I sold that one, but I would call that an Eagle.
Eagle.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bittersweet moment for me to sell it, but
it's business. It's business. If you make $2 million from it.
Yeah, I made $1.9 million on the car, and with cars, they're always making better ones. So it's not like
you can't get emotionally attached too much.
Yeah,
especially if you're going to make money, right? You can't
get never get emotionally attached to anything other than your family.
Yeah, for sure.
And because material things come and go.
Yeah.
And if a window of opportunity opens where you can make a couple of $1 million in a short period of time, it'd be idiotic to say no, I can. They don't make this anymore. They're making better ones. But I'm not. Yeah.
So how about Tesla? Because I never thought, that for me, I like a car that when I step on it, I will make some noise. But I know you have a couple of Teslas. So,
it was a hard switch.
Okay. So tell me about how you feel about those, and what's the word that you associate with it?
Tesla. I would call it a dolphin. No, it's very quiet. It's very quiet. But what I like about Tesla is obviously now that I'm doing more, at social media, all that stuff, and I'm on the call all the time with my team. So it makes it more practical for me when I'm commuting to get business done. Yeah. It's very clear, the technology, voice, and data, even the navigation, and it's a smooth, quiet, comfortable. So for me, I feel for a daily driver, it suits me better as a businessman.
Plus, it's super fast though for you.
Yeah, it's super fast.
You got the fast one, so.
Yeah, but I do miss my daily driver, which is the drop head, the Rolls-Royce drop head. Mm-hmm. So I noticed the days I drive the drop head, I'm much more happier. I have Frank Sinatra on, I'm smoking a cigar.
Yes.
I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is why I was depressed the other day.
I didn't have no noise.
Yeah.
All right, Manny. So now I'm going to go through some pictures and you tell me what
Yeah.
these pictures are about. So, this is when you got married? No, this was...
No, this was just a fun shoot we had on one of my tenants' yachts at my marina.
Oh, that's right. Your building where you have your the
Cubano room.
Yeah. What a beautiful building that is.
Thank you.
Okay, what do we have here?
Oh, okay. This was at Muhammad Hadid's house. I think it was Shiva's birthday, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Oh, look at that!
Oh my God, that's when Enzo was 6 months old. This is my old house, which you've been.
Okay,
My old house,
Enzo,
yeah.
Priscilla.
Yeah, that's Priscilla, and of course my wife
God,
Layla.
Look at that stroller.
And Enzo, I know that stroller is made in England, handmade, just like my Rolls Royce.
Don't let my wife see that, because we already have like a really expensive stroller, but I don't want her to get anything. You know what I mean? My wife right now would be like, go Google it. Yeah. I don't need that kind of problem right now. Wow. What? And I told you this off camera. And I'm gonna say it on camera. Out of all your accomplishments, this is what I'm
most rewarding.
I'm most proud of you. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I'm so proud that you're such an awesome, amazing giver. You've always been given to so many people around you, and you deserve to have a beautiful family like this.
Thank you.
And I know 15 years ago you were looking for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I was,
you were looking for that. And when I saw you get married and I saw that, I was rooting for you. I was smiling for you the whole time when I saw Enzo and Priscilla.
Thank you.
So it was just
Likewise for you.
Look at you hustling right there.
Oh, yeah.
Tank top, muscles, and a computer right there. Look. How old were you here?
Here, I want to say I was 18. This is when I was doing my nut business. So
You were the boss.
Yeah. So that's actually my dad's PC. We bought it at Radio Shack.
Okay.
Back then. But I was using it to print my labels, for my nuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we shared that. But, it's funny how my desk and chair was both foldable, back then.
Well, look at the desk and the chair that you have now.
Yeah.
And I came to your office and I saw your desk. And I'm like, holy shit! It's that. What is that? It's that
52 stealth bomber.
Yeah, it's a stealth bomber shit.
Yeah.
And you told me, tell me just like take 30 seconds and tell me about that desk, because it's fascinating for you guys. That desk is fascinating.
Yeah, that desk comes with bigger blueprints than some homes. I mean, it's got over 2,000 pieces. It took 8 months to build. 6 guys worked on it, designing it, and it's got 40,000 cuts of CNC machine cuts, and it's a 1,300 pound aluminum with 2,000 screws all bolted, but you don't see the screws. It's all done from underneath. And then they had to build a carbon fiber tube to support the weight, because I didn't want the third wheel to support, on the tip of it. So I wanted to look like it's flying, stealth bomber. So it took 8 months and lots of money, but I'm extremely proud and happy about it. It's super unique, and they only made 2 desks in 60 years, the company that does this.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story, man.
Yeah, so...
And I think that desk literally kind of resembles your life. As a stealth bomber, you stayed humble, under the radar, and you just kept going and you kept pushing. You know what I mean? And
Fly under the radar.
You did. You did. Oh, there it is. Oh my God, my favorite. Look.
That's an old picture of the garage. But yeah, I have the Pagani. I sold the blue Bugatti, but I bought the Rembrandt Bugatti, which was a lot more, rare and a better car and more horsepower. 1,200 horsepower. That's a Mansouri Bugatti. And then I sold the Saline 2 only because it saved my life.
Because you told me you spun out in it, right?
Twice. Yeah, I almost killed myself in a car. So I'm like, okay, if I don't want to keep a car that I can't take out once in a while and enjoy.
Yeah, it's just scary. That car.
It's just not practical.
That car's just raw power, nothing. Just in it. Yeah,
it's not safe. Too much horsepower. But so my favorite one is the one with the doors open.
That is. I mean, look at that car, man. I mean, Jesus. That's my favorite too.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's an art. It's an
It is
art.
a lot,
it's
a
an
lot
art.
of detail, and it's difficult to make a car look good in like brown.
Yeah,
but that car looked like a liquid chocolate,
Yeah.
and then with some exposed carbon.
And look at the interior of it, matches it
Yeah.
perfectly. How fast have you gone? How fast have you taken a car?
I don't know. I don't want to go to jail. Do I have to say No, I've done 200.
You have done 200?
Yeah.
You made 200?
Yeah.
Gosh, man, I got it.
Yeah, well, in the Bugatti, it's not difficult to hit. All you need is like a little over a mile a stretch away.
Yeah,
a straight away, yeah.
Gosh. All right. Now, for people...
Where is the cello kebab? No, just
cello
kidding.
kebab, yeah, my God, gosh. Persian food,
Where is the
man.
kubi then? No, I'm just kidding. No.
So, for people who, for whatever reason, don't know who you are, where they can find out about you? What is your social media handle?
Sure.
Your website, and if somebody wants to get into your M3 coaching program.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How
So my
can they find out
website.
more?
Yeah, my website's mannykoshbin.com, www.mannykoshbin.com, and then on there's a mentorship tab. They can click and go down to the mastermind program, and sign up. And then my Instagram is where I'm very active. I inspire, motivate as much as I can. But having 2 kids is difficult.
Oh man, really? I love your Instagram. I watch it. I watch it. And what's awesome about you is that your family's there, your kids are there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I try to share my life.
Absolutely, man.
That's not just business,
Yes.
but a little bit of everything, and whatever I'm in the mood for. If I'm smoking a cigar or I'm taking a joyride,
and it's real. It's real. It's not just like fabricated business. So it's awesome.
I appreciate it. Thank
And
you. And that's just my name, Manny Khoshbin.
Manny Khoshbin.
Yeah, I do have a Facebook page too, but I'm not that active. I have like 50,000 likes on it, but I focus on Instagram. But I am developing more content on my YouTube channel, which is going to be focused more on my cars, toys, and my collection.
Oh man, I want Manny. I want to come one day just to hang out and just look at the cars and
it'd be my pleasure.
We'll bring the thing,
come on down.
and I want to start them up and all that kind of stuff. I know you're busy, but I'm going to hit you up.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can come up now.
It'd be my pleasure.
For people who are watching this or listening to this, I mean, if you're not inspired right now, seriously, you need to go check your fucking pulse. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I've known Manny for years, but every time I hear your story, I'm just more and more inspired. I just read his book. I finished it a week and a half ago, and I just texted him, man. I'm like, gosh, I was just so pumped up, So make sure you get his book, Driven. It's absolutely inspiring.
Thank you.
Inspiring, man. A man that comes here at 14, basically live in a hotel, live in a Datsun, went and tried so many different places, worked at Kmart, failed at 4, 5, 6 different businesses, literally, made money, went broke, and now sitting here with a beautiful, first of all, the most important possession, beautiful family.
Thank
you. Beautiful mansion, some of the most exotic cars, the one-of-ones that nobody's ever seen before, and also not only that, he's helped so many people along the way become millionaires and become real estate moguls. So make sure you check him out. He's a real guy, humble and down to earth. Thank you so much. And make sure you listen to us on YouTube and all the channels and share it with all your friends. God bless.
Thank you, man. Thank you.